My name's Eric from Maine Mobile Welding Service in Mercer, Maine. I'm here to demonstrate our 6-foot, 1-ton capacity ATV log arch. Rather than cutting all your firewood to stove length out in the field and making several trips back and forth, this allows you to take a 14 to 16 foot log. If you limit and lift it and put it in this log arch, you can take the whole thing back in one piece, keeping it clean and dry, to cut it up back at where you split your wood, or if you have a sawmill, you have to move some logs around. This would be perfect for it. If you were to just wrap a chain around this and try to drag it out of the woods, I don't know if you could do it. This is about a 600-700 pound log. It would really beat on your ATV. So instead, if you use this, it's very easy. All the weight is on the arch. Has wide flotation tires for easy, excellent maneuverability and handling on soft surfaces and mud and dirt, what you'll find out in the woods when you try to get your firewood. This particular model has integrated handles welded on the rear of the arch for easy lifting and maneuvering of the arch when you're out in the field. If you're in a tight area, you can only get next to the log, you'd be able to pick this arch right up and put it over the log rather than trying to back straight over it the way I did here. This has a 2,000 pound capacity, 2-speed hand cable winch. This will lift any log that you're going to have to try to move with this piece of equipment. This also has a cradle design in the front, towards the front of the log arch. This is for the widest butt end of the log you're maneuvering, or that you're moving. As you lift, the butt end locks into this arch. You crank it up and it locks the log in place for very little movement or swinging around as you're going to where the log has to go. There's a greasable, bronze bushed 2,000 pound sheave block. It also has a 6-foot cable choker with chain links on the end of it. So if you need a 7 or 8 footer, it's very easy. You don't need any tools to change the choker out in the field. So what we're going to do, I'll demonstrate how this works, and you'll be able to see how easy it is to drive off with a log this size. That really, this would be at least one trip if you cut it all to stove length out in the woods. You'd be going back and forth to get this particular log. Very rugged design. So all you have to do, take the included choker cable, has the slide, the nub, they simply lock together and it'll tighten itself naturally around the log. That's why it's called choker cable. So, get over the log, take the cable, take the nub end, put it under the log and around, take your slide hook, locks the nub into the slide hook. Take up the slack. There's new cable, so it's a little, doesn't have its memory yet, so. You can see this log is starting to lift. It swings around and moves. Normally other log arches, that's it. You crank it up, get it up off the ground, then you drive. As you drive around, it swings back and forth. It'll swing side to side. It can be difficult to handle when you're out in the woods. With this log arch, as you can see, I grabbed the log with the widest end, the butt end, towards the machine. It naturally wants to be grabbed and pulled in by the cradle. So as you crank it up, you can see it's locked in here, good and solid. It's up off the ground. Plenty of ground clearance when you're out in the woods and going over rough terrain. Very solid and sturdy. If you want want to drive away with it, you can do that right now, but there's one other way that this thing works for larger logs that I'll show you on this one. So this, I'm going to let this back down. Get some cable out. Once again, you take the cable choker. Need a little more cable let out. Pull the cable choker till it's up against the sheave block. Wrap the cable around just like you would using it normally with the choker part of the choker cable with the slide hook. But instead this time, we lock it into the nub slide attached to the rear of the log arch. This will enable the log to rotate as it's lifted, so larger diameter, heavier logs are much easier to lift rather than a straight pull. Again, we'll be using the attached cradle at the front to lock the end of the log in. But as you'll be able to see, this log lifts much easier when it's used this other way rather than with the choker around the trunk. Once again, the cradle's used. Now when you do it this way, you crank it up, the butt of the log is locked into the cradle. It's also cranked up to the bottom, into the point of the nub slide, which locks it in place quite well.